we are with your standing extension posture tutorial. This is also known as Ardha Uttanasana, or a half forward fold. That doesn't do it justice though, because there isn't a forward fold aspect to the spine in this pose. It is in full axial extension, creating space between the vertebra to get the spine as straight as we can. And what this does is it creates more length in the spine, and it keeps us from getting compression in between the vertebra and the discs. All right, it does take core strength, front and back of the core. And we can manipulate our body's ability to call up that strength. So I'm gonna teach you some tricks on how to do that, okay? So let's start in a forward fold, okay? And this is Uttanasana forward fold. Feet are hip width apart. You've done this one a million times. And we're gonna take the weight forward on the balls of the feet in a forward fold. And we're totally letting the head hang so that the neck is going. What happens in a forward fold is the opposite of what happens in extension. We are really letting the whole back body go. We're wanting it to relax, okay? But then we have to fire the muscles of the back body to get to extension. So this occurs by pushing weight into the heels. So it's a shifting back of the weight, push down into the heels. You'll find that if you push down into the heels, it's easier to drive yourself up, okay? So you're pushing down in the heels to drive yourself up. The muscles of the backs of the legs will really fire. Now, most of us can't get our spine in axial extension unless we bend our knees. So start there until you figure out how much of a knee bend is required for you. Start with a generous bend. All right, so shift the weight into the heels. Drive yourself up by pushing down through the heels. And then we're gonna stop at whatever point it is where we feel like the back is straight. Part of getting the back straight requires us to also pull the fronts of shoulders away from the floor, right? So that we aren't allowing something like this to happen. Because too often people come up from a forward bend and they think they're extended, but there's this kind of thing going on. So we can learn it through the extension posture. So anytime we're moving through sun salutes then with our arms overhead, we'll be able to do it really effectively. So let's learn by pressing into the heels, driving up. What we'll do when we press into the heels and drive up is fire the muscles along your back body, but now also draw your navel back towards your spine so that we have the core supporting us too. Place the hands on your lower body, on your lower shins, and then lift the fronts of shoulders away from the floor. Your gaze is important here too. If you try to look too far forward, you're going to end up arching your back, right? And if you try to look too far back, you're going to end up rounding your back. So you're going to take your gaze slightly out ahead of what is straight down for you when you find extension. Some people will find extension by getting quite high, right? Maybe it'll take this height. Other people, core back too. Other people, it might be way down here, right? So my extension posture might be less than horizontal. It's possible. So you find where you can get the extension of the spine. It'll be a different height for everybody. Weight is in the heels. We're pressing down, activating the muscles of the back body, pulling the navel back towards the spine to keep the low back supported, and then fronts of shoulders lifting away from the floor, gaze is slightly out in front of you. Exhale and fold. Let your weight shift forward on the balls of your feet. Soften the muscles of the back body. Let your head kind of hang, and maybe shake it and nod it a little bit to make sure your neck is letting go. All right, now you know how to get extension in your spine. Use that whenever you're going into or out of a forward bend in your sun salutes or anywhere in your yoga practice. Namaste.